Championship match, best of 3. Welcome everyone to Scottsdale on a really beautiful day. It's a little hot maybe, but no humidity in the air. And Andre Agassi in his second, we've said that before, consecutive singles final after having to pull out of the Australian with a wrist injury.
Well, Agassi, though, playing very well the last couple of weeks. Is he 8-1 with that road to the final last week, and here's how he's done it. He played Clavet, a guy who beat him last year in the opening round here, and then went on to win the tournament. Then he played Ruzetsky, the left-hander, with a big serve, and he served and volleyed obviously some in that one. Chela gave Agassi a struggle. The Spaniard there, 6-1 in the third, and then Malisse took him out pretty comfortably. Chela from Argentina, I should say. Balcells, the Spaniard, turned pro in '96. Like many of the Spanish players, makes his home in Barcelona. Took out Blanco, another Spaniard, 6-3. Kradicville from Switzerland, 3-4. Tough quarterfinal against Noam Akun of Israel, 6-3 in the third, and then a surprisingly easy win over Rainer Schuttler, the German, 3-1 in the semis.
Schuttler had beaten Moya in the round before that, which is a pretty good win. And Tommy Haas was taken out in the first round by Moya, so to some extent the road was cleared. Norm Christ is in the chair. He lives here in Arizona. I talked to him just a minute ago. He said he spends about 4 days a month here. This is home for him. And November, December, that's it.
It's a nice week for him. Get to sleep in his own bed and work.
Agassi, first point.
Person.
Try to introduce Juan Balcells to you. His dad was a bodybuilder. In fact, in the days of Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was in the Mr. Universe contest and came number 9. And I said to him, well, why are you a servant volley player? He said, because I'm too big and strong. And so it takes too much out of me to play from the baseline. So I like to get the points over.
That's what they call him, Oso. Right, Cliff, his nickname, which means bear in Spanish. He's a bear of a guy, but Agassi's going to make him work very hard in this match, and I think that could be the telling factor, because Agassi is able to control the points from the baseline so well. He'll try to move Balcells around.
Good reflexes from Agassi, 30-50.
It's not always pretty when Andre Agassi's at net, but he gets the job done, and he does it here. Balcells with a good look at this pass, slightly mishits at Agassi on top of the net. As again, I said, not pretty, but when you're that close to the net, good things happen. Needless to say, Agassi's got some quick reactions. Pretty good eye.
40-15.
Well, sometimes that play can work against Agassi, chipping it short and forcing Andre to come in. But Agassi looks to be moving very well, very confidently. And when you do that, when Andre's moving like that, those short balls he gets up to very quickly, as he did on that one. Game points.
Andre Agassi wins the first game. Closing in on an interesting record here, the nifty 50. Jimmy Connors had 109, one more than anyone.
Lendl, my brother John there. Sampras was 63. Borg, Vilas, Nastasi, and Agassi looking for number 50 today. Pretty elite group there. Of course, Agassi was 7 Grand Slams. His first career title down in Itaparica, little island in Brazil. Took out Luiz Matar. He was the best Brazilian for a long time, Cliff, until that guy named Gustavo Kirten came
right.
along.
Balcells to serve.
Patrick, you may be interested to know that I talked to Balcells earlier, 105, and he was saying, because I said to him, you know what, the way you're playing here, you may be playing singles for Spain in the Davis Cup. He said, I don't think so. So I said, then who? He says, Moya. Moya's been playing well. He's not a bad grass court player. And then Ferreira the Mosquito, probably.
I think Balcells is certainly making a case. Yeah, but I would tend to agree with Balcells. I think Moya certainly is a pretty good volleyer. That time Agassi just bludgeoning that return. Balcells not able to handle it. He and Alex Correia play a lot of doubles for Spain in Davis Cup. Agassi will try to get on top of that kick serve early, take it early, not let it get up around his shoulder height. Means he'll be looking to take the ball just inside the baseline. Good coverage there from Balcells. Agassi gets the return down low. Balcells there anticipates. See, he just moves slightly to his right there. Kept that volley nice and low. Agassi couldn't handle it. See where Agassi's already moving to his left there to look for that kicker. That first serve percentage is going to be a big factor for the Spaniard today. See already feeling the pressure of the Agassi return, one of the best that we've ever seen in tennis.
They haven't played against each other, these two, by the way. First meeting.
What makes Agassi's return so good is just his eyes, his short backswing, his timing. Good play from Balcells. Again, excellent anticipation there. The bear moving quickly around the net. Agassi again. See, that ball got up in Agassi, and that gave Balcells a pretty easy first volley. Put good position, excellent technique. Short little punch, game point.
Yeah, another good stretch, and he's on the board. It's one apiece. Sunday, March 10th, catch ESPN's first original motion picture starring Brian Dennehy. Follow Bobby Knight, the controversial college basketball coach, Indiana Hoosiers, through a season on the brink. Viewer discretion strongly advised. ESPN, ESPN2. 2 airings, unedited on ESPN and edited with reduced audible adult language on The Deuce. ESPN2. $15 left. That's a nice job on the nifty-50, Patrick. I thought what's as interesting is that he's won 7 Grand Slam titles. If he wins another one, he overtakes John McEnroe, John Newcomb, Mats Wielander, guys of that caliber. And can he do it, though, I guess?
He can, sure he can. He's making up for lost time. And a couple of years he let slide by, but certainly the last few years, Agassi is relentless in his pursuit of majors.
Well, it is going to be a long day for him if he stays that far
back there. It was a shame that Agassi had to pull out in Australia, Cliff, because really that's the best surface for Agassi. You see him again dictating play. Look at the depth on that back, and Balcells way back there, and Agassi, he'll just run you ragged. Those courts down in Australia are perfectly set up for Agassi. But I think he can still win certainly the U.S. Open and outside shot at the French and at Wimbledon. He's won them all, so you know he can do it.
Yeah, I could not agree more. They'll take a break. We'll join them. It's on serve 2-1. Juan Balcells of Spain will serve and we come back. Andre Agassi in the singles final, 2-1 on serve. Juan Balcells serving. Whoa. He's very athletic. Patrick used to play soccer. That's no surprise, being from Spain. But when he was 9, his mom had a disagreement with a soccer coach and said to him, "Why you're not playing soccer anymore? You're playing tennis."
One of those soccer moms, huh? They even have those stories in Spain, huh? They probably have a lot of them over there where soccer is king, but tennis not far behind. Yeah, he moves in quickly, too. But he gets in very quickly. That's the help of that kick serve, a la Patrick Rafter. The ball clears the net, goes very high over the net, allows you that little extra time to get in quickly.
If he wins the title, it'll be a second. He'll be a Spanish repeat champion. You mentioned Francisco Clavet went all the way, beat Agassi, and then went. Actually, he's beaten Agassi the last 2 years here. And Clavet won it last year, coming out of nowhere.
Agassi's won this event 3 times, Cliff. Last time back in '98, he took out Jason Stoltenberg.
Patrick, in the Open, you mentioned the changing coaches for Agassi, but let's go a little deeper into that story.
Well, he's now working with, as I mentioned, Darren Cahill, former solid Australian player who coached Leighton Hewitt, helped Hewitt get to #1 last year. They parted. A good serve from Balcells, so he evens things up here, 2-all. But they parted rather surprisingly, Hewitt and Cahill, that is, and not much really said down in Australia. Of course, many questions asked about exactly the reasons why. And then Agassi partying with Brad Gilbert.
That was an equally big surprise.
Just as surprising. And as not much has been said about that either. No one expected. I don't think either Andre or Brad saw it coming. Just felt like the time was right to make a change. When Agassi went on I guess his own search and said he'd respected what Darren Cahill had been doing with Leighton Hewitt in the last couple of years. As you see the wide serve from Agassi and in a short reply like this, and you're in all sorts of trouble. There's Killa. Call him down under. Darren Cahill, of course, and Agassi respected what he'd seen Cahill do with Leighton Hewitt. Of course, Hewitt had played against Agassi in the final during the World Championships. Remember the Masters final in Sydney last year when Hewitt solidified his #1 ranking for the year. Beat Agassi there.
Yeah, you can see Agassi shielding his eyes from the sun. It's not a good spot to be there at this time of day.
30-50.
But certainly Andre Agassi and Brad Gilbert had an incredible run together. I mean, Agassi's won 6 of his 7 majors with Gilbert in his coach's box. Good return there from Balcells. And Gilbert taught Agassi a lot about not only strategy, but about competing, match in and match out. Certainly Andre knows how to hit the ball. He's always known that.
You may be interested that we had Gil Reyes up here just for a little while talking to him, Patrick. He was very articulate, very interesting on the set. Yeah, so I said, well, are you calling him Killer yet? And he said, yeah, we're beginning to get Killer Cahill, the coach.
Gil, of course, Agassi's fitness trainer and one of his best friends for a long time.
Going to Agassi, 3-2. We're still on serve, no breaks yet. Early stages. This is the final championship match here in Scottsdale. Andre Agassi was already at the Australian Open Championship, and then in the final match of the warm-up tournament, he injured his wrist, so he had to pull out. And we talked about that wrist injury yesterday.
Well, I suppose if I made some bad decisions with it and tried to play through it, if it did start feeling the same way it did down in Australia, it could be. You know, my whole point in Australia was, you know, I can't ignore this pain that is so familiar that led me to the operating table 9 years ago. So I had to make a tough but clear decision, and I'll do the same again if I need to. But as of right now, the 6 weeks that I had off putting it to rest has helped it tremendously, and I've gotten it in a stable position, and now I'm on top of it. So I believe I'll be able to get through this without it ever putting me in that kind of compromising position again.
So it was apparently a recurrence of an old injury, Patrick, but he was saying that he thinks that he can contain it, which is good news.
Well, the nice thing about Agassi is that he, with his physical conditioning now, he keeps himself in such great shape. He actually doesn't have to practice that much. I mean, he's got to stay sharp, obviously. But he's not a guy that needs to hit a lot of balls. I mean, you have an hour-and-a-half practice session with Agassi. That's like practicing 4 hours with somebody else. I mean, that's the type of intensity he brings to the practice court. And as you get a little bit older, that helps, because it's not the quantity, it's the quality of your practice sessions. You know, there's some players, Cliff, that need to spend a lot of time getting a rhythm, getting into a groove. He's not really one of those guys. Balcells, again, attacking well. Kick serve, gets up.
And look how close he gets to the net here.
Yeah, Andre slightly mishits it.
And he's right on top of it. 30-15. Should mention that Pete Sampras showed up here. In fact, his brother Gus is the tournament director, but Pete went out to Ferreira. Ferreira's got a good record against him.
They're 6-6 overall, yep. And Ferreira lost to Malisse in the quarters. Well, Balcells yelled out in the middle of that point, thinking that he'd hit that forehand volley long. Listen to this. Ball landed in. Norm Christ immediately gave the point to Agassi. That's the right decision.
I'm not, because you made the
Right.
Patrick, this is a surprise to me. Explain it.
Well, what happened was that Balcells, when he hit that first volley, he sort of yelled out because he thought he missed a shot.
So you lose the point automatically?
Well, that's an obstruction. Can I say that 10 times fast? That's an obstruction to your opponent.
Okay.
It's not like a grunt. And Norm Chris is saying, I know it was unintentional, but you still did it.
Pretty hard on him anyway. Break point. What a shot.
Beautiful pickup there.
Half volley, cross-court, clean winner.
That's a nasty kick serve right there. Out wide. Agassi, look how far he has to reach for it. Did well to just poke it down the line, and Balcells showing good feel there. It's tough, though, especially when you're the big bear, as he is, to keep bending down for those first volleys.
I just got to say, it's one thing to do it every so often, but time and time again, it's going to be tough for him. Break point again. Second of the game.
Well, when you don't have a lot of heat on the serve, Cliff, and you rely on that kick, you have to be so accurate with that first serve. You see that just 90 miles per hour. And Balcells, look where this first serve lands. It doesn't get out wide. It's right in the slot for Agassi. It doesn't bounce up wide enough. And Andre able to get a clean hit at that ball and thus earn his first break of this match.
Balcells asked me if we could tape this match for him. Patrick said he could have a copy of it, but I'm not sure he's going to want to see
He may not
this.
want it if it keeps going like looks like it may. Agassi running him ragged.
Let me put a postscript on the coach's story. The Spaniard is coached by Pato Alvarez. He works out of an academy in Barcelona where they've got all different surfaces. That goes along. That is run by Emilio Sanchez. But Pato Alvarez has not been here this week because he was in Del Rey with some of his other charges.
For Balcells, but let me tell you, that's exactly the kind of point that Agassi wants to play. When you don't hit the ball hard from the back of the court, you'll be at the mercy of Agassi controlling the play, and Balcells with a great topspin lob, but he's not going to win too many of those points. Not to mention he's going to get exhausted.
Yeah. You come in, you got to come in behind some pretty good stuff against one of the best passing shot artists in tennis, Andre Agassi, the top seed, leading 5-2 in the first set. Balcells to serve, and we come back to Scottsdale. Agassi leading Balcells here to serve. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe alongside. And Balcells is going to struggle, looks like. Called good, I think. Yep, good.
Balcells questioning it, but we're right on that line up in our booth. That looked to just catch the sideline. Agassi with a good one-handed return there again, forcing the big guy to get down low. Agassi holding that ball to the last second. Trust me, it was good. Here it is again. This angle might give us a better look. Yep.
Agassi won a Grand Slam last year, the Australian, then 2 Tennis Masters series, the one coming up next week at Indian Wells, and then in Key Biscayne. Had a great start to the year.
Didn't win another tournament though. The rest of the year. Or did he win LA? Maybe he won LA. I think it was his only other win where he beat Sampras in the final there.
Didn't do badly at the US Open. That great match with Pete Sampras, all tie breaks, 4 of them.
That ball, exact same spot as that lob, just catching the sideline. Agassi improvising here, just trying to block it back. And look what I found. 30 all. See Balcells now trying to do a little more with that first serve. Hit it a little bit harder, getting out of his rhythm. Agassi just starting to feel it now. He knew where that second serve was going.
Set point.
He just munched all over this thing. Right in, as he likes to call it, the wheelhouse. That wasn't in the wheelhouse, but it didn't matter.
Agassi wins the first set, 2 breaks to serve easily, 6-2. It could be a short afternoon for both of them. Set 2 when we come back to Scottsdale. (6-2) first set to Agassi. Second set to start. Fear factor a part of this, Patrick, with Balcells and Agassi?
I think it's just a fear of the Agassi game. You know, it's all what happens out there on the court.
You know, when a guy gives him a hand on that set point, you sort of have the feeling that he's got a lot of respect for him, and it's nice to see, but not sure that it bodes well for his chances in this set.
Well, the guy can't be a good sportsman and say good shot. That means he's not trying to win, Cliff. What are you exactly trying to say here?
Oh, yes, nice. There's a big difference between not trying to win and not thinking that you can win.
Okay.
You know what I mean, Jelly?
Thank you for the re-clarification. Good athleticism here from Balcells. Agassi throws up another defensive lob this time, and Balcells handles it easily.
Good playing, a little lucky there with the leg court, but then a very solid volley, and he's serving into the sun. Remember, this is not the friendly side. 30-all. If Balcells is going to make a move, this would be a very good time to do it.
This would be at an opportune moment.
Yeah.
And if Agassi gets out in front again, this final will be an under an hour situation. 26 minutes that first set. Wow, that was a real opportunity. That was a weak second serve from Agassi. Very short. Didn't have much kick on it, only 79 miles per hour, and Balcells bricked it. Get it off the line. Agassi hoping for a call, but that ball clipped the line. The linesman there. See the way that ball skidded. When it hits the white lines on these hard courts, it's different paint there. The ball really skids.
Game point, Agassi. Agassi's asking the ball boy at the net to send it down.
He's very particular about all that, Agassi. Wants all the ball kids in their right places. I bet Cliff, when Agassi was 17, he didn't care where any of the ball boys were or anything. He didn't spend that many years on the tour. You start worrying about that stuff.
First set, Agassi 6-2. Now 1 game to love in the second.
The first set, Balcells trying to use that serve volley game. Had a little bit of success early, but once Agassi got out in front, serving well, picking his spots. A lot of winners from the back of the court, and then this a flurry at the end of the set. Agassi with the winner return to win it 6-2. Here are the numbers. Look at the unforced. Only 3 for Agassi. Talk about a clean set. The first serve percentage high for both players. Neither player going for big first serves.
Yeah, Agassi had a lot of more unforced errors yesterday. He told me afterwards that he had a slight lower back problem and it had all worked out. But he's playing a much cleaner match, much cleaner today.
Well, Agassi's very smart, Cliff, because he knows that the guy he's playing against today, Balcells, doesn't have a lot of firepower from the back of the court. He's not going to hit a lot of winners. Like Malisse is a guy that could hit winners from the back of the court. So Agassi then reels it in. He says, okay, I'm going to play consistent tennis today. I'm not going to go for big serves. I'm not going to go for winners from the ground. And that's where that experience comes into play, of being out there for so many years, knowing how to play against particular opponents. Good serve from Balcells. Didn't have to hit a volley. And you can see him breathing a sigh of relief. He'll take those free points as often as he can get them.
Oh. It's good. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, way to go. That's nice. That's the best point of the tournament. And recognized nicely by both players. Here's another look.
Well, Agassi, look what I found. Incredibly, that ball stayed in. So Andre says, all right, might as well run up to the net for this. Balcells sees him, goes right at him. That's that quick reaction.
Kind of thing that makes Agassi so charismatic, that kind of move that you know, most people wouldn't even think about.
He's come up with more shots like that in his career than anybody. Between the legs, over the shoulder winners.
Balcells holds on. It's 1 apiece. I talked to Balcells this morning, Patrick, and I will tell you what he's there all the way through the championship match. Championship match will be on ABC. Anyway, Pat, just getting back to what I was going to say, when I talked to him this morning, he said that he serves and volleys because he's too big to stay back and because it takes too much stamina to stay back. You'd argue with that, though, wouldn't you? Because you said before that you think a serve and volley player uses up as much, if not more, stamina.
Well, I think so. For certain guys, yeah, like Patrick Rafter and Balcells. The other factor that Balcells didn't tell you, and I'm not surprised he didn't, is that he doesn't have a lot of firepower from the back of the court. He can't win cheap points hitting big balls from the back of the court. He's chipping. He's basically playing defensive tennis. As you see the winners, 16 for Agassi with that last one. And Pete Sampras is a serve volley, but he's got a big forehand. You know, he can hurt you from the back of the court. Balcells really can't. Nor, for that matter, could Patrick Rafter. I mean, he started to develop that as he got a little more mature ability to hit out from the back of the court. But he was essentially a defensive player from the back of the court, and that means you got to be in great shape. Got to run a lot of balls down.
Which he was.
In addition to being able to find that ball to then chip and charge and get to the net.
Game point, Agassi. 1 apiece, second set. First set easily to Agassi. Closes that one out in a hurry, and Juan Balcells will serve when we come back. He's from Spain, and he's playing the mighty Agassi in the championship match here in Scottsdale.
The winners of this week's tennis
Championship match, Andre Agassi winning the first set, and he's leading 2-1 in the second. Juan Balcells of Spain to serve at 1-2.
Look at that number there at the bottom. That's the killer. Second serve points won, only 17% from Balcells. Agassi eating up those second deliveries. Well, Agassi, with his ability to take that return early, makes you react so quickly around the net. Time Balcells a dangerous move there. That could have been a knee or an ankle injury on that.
That's long. Just returning so well as he usually does, and he seems to, Agassi does anyway, be getting onto Balcells' serve. Balcells has won one ATP title. It was in Bucharest a couple of years ago. Finished the race last year at number 75. And he's had his surgery problems. You can see his knees, they're bandaged underneath him. He's had knee, shoulder, wrist, ankle surgery.
Man, I mean, when you're that thick and a tennis player, it's difficult.
Yeah, you can see, as I mentioned to you, if you just joined us, I'll repeat that his dad was a bodybuilder in the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he just says, for a guy with my sort of muscles, it's tough. Saves a break point in its deuce. Bodybuilding did a lot for Andre Agassi. I sort of questioned when he started out with all that bodybuilding stuff some, what, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whether it was going to help or hurt him, but boy, it sure has helped.
Well, you got to do it the right way, particularly when you're a tennis player, which is so much about, a lot more about movement and mobility, flexibility than it is about pure strength. But look at Agassi's legs over the years. I mean, he's really gotten them strong with all his running up hills in Vegas. Weight work that he's done. Good serving from Balcells to get out of a little bit of trouble.
2 apiece, second set.
Agassi's economy of movement, Cliff, I think is probably the biggest reason, in addition to his ball striking ability, of why he still can be in his prime now in his early 30s and maybe even for a couple more years. His footwork is so good. I mean, very similar to Jimmy Connors. You know, Connors was able to have such longevity because of his great footwork, his balance, never really getting too stretched out wide. That's where you can get hurt.
The 30 level. You know that stuff that you were saying earlier about you play 1 hour against Agassi is like playing 4 hours against somebody else. Connors was exactly.
Yes, exactly. He was very much like that.
Good.
Good smart first volley there from Balcells. I'm not sure he meant it quite as it came off, keeping it short and low on that first one. And it made Agassi have to move forward, and that gave Balcells that time. You saw him take that step or two to move forward. Very tough to lob off a ball that's short and low.
Good play. Got into the net very quickly and cut off Agassi's effort to get to that net ball, which he did.
Great hustle from both guys. You look at Balcells on the move, gets a break here. Agassi scrambles up to it, and you're right, Cliff, taking it out of the air. Took the time away from Agassi.
30-all. Into the sun, he's serving.
Here's a chance for Balcells on second serve. Tries a chip and charge. Will Agassi go out wide? No, didn't do enough with it. He was sitting right on it. Not a great second serve, but the approach shot, look at that. It just sits right up for Agassi. He takes one step, he's in perfect position, and rips it cross court.
Game point. Agassi's resurgence began really in Roland Garros in 1999. That's when he became the 5th man in history to win all 4 Grand Slam titles. There's Killer, that's the killer, Killer Cahill, Darren Cahill from Australia, Agassi's coach.
Oh, nicely done by Andre. A good play by Balcells. Doesn't really have the ability, Balcells, to come over his backhand, but he kept this real low. Andre moves in quickly, and the eyedropper. What are you laughing at?
I always laugh at that. I can't help it.
Like you're surprised now?
I mean, I've heard it, what, 50 pounds, and I, whatever. Light dropper. Game point. That's serve, and Agassi holds on. 3-2, we're on serve. Balcells will serve, we come back. This is the Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic, everyone. We are in Scottsdale, and this is the final match. Andre Agassi has enjoyed great longevity as a tennis player. He's 31 years old, closing in on 32, in fact. The young players have challenged him, but listen to him on the subject.
Well, you know, I'm out there competing with 21-year-olds, and I think inside the lines there is no age. It's a function of what your abilities are. It's a function of what your strengths and weaknesses are, where your body is. I mean, I'm healthy. I'm fit. I'm moving well. I have a lot of experience. I still got all my shots. I mean, that's good. All those things are good, and I feel like I can make it pretty difficult for anybody to beat me.
It's tough to find any holes in that, isn't it?
Well, I think the biggest thing that strikes me about Agassi, Cliff, over the years is that he's improved his game. You know, people think that if you go down in the rankings, that, you know, for a lot of players, what happened, what's wrong with this player, what's wrong with Jim Courier when he was going down, what's wrong with Michael Chang. It's not necessarily what's wrong with them, it's the other players continue to get better. The younger players coming in, they hit with more power, they're more athletic. Agassi has gotten his serve better. His serve direction has gotten better over the years. His ability to volley has gotten better. You've seen some great volleys from Agassi in this match. So he's done things to his game technically that have improved his game and that have therefore kept him at the top of the game. Because if you don't get better, I don't care how good you are and how many tournaments you won when you were in your 20s, your early 20s, if you don't keep improving out there in the pro game, you're not going to stay up there. Yep.
That one out of reach. He has hit double the number of winners that he's made errors, Agassi, in this match. Those are very good numbers. Very clean.
And Agassi looking for the short one, but couldn't quite get up to it. Balcells working hard to stay in the second set so far. He's had to earn his points in this set, Balcells, and he's still down 2-3. Yep. You got to be crisp with that volley. Give Agassi a look. You see just slightly mishit and Andre there, and he can find the opening as well as anyone has ever been able to find it. Andre Agassi. Such great control with the racket. Sees the court.
Oh, that's nice.
That's spectacular there, because he knew that had to be a clean winner. Agassi had hit that return, had the middle of the court covered, and Balcells able to hit the dink drop volley winner. Game point. A good kicker, so Balcells holds on. 3-all now.
Audible adult language on ESPN 2. That show is going to get great ratings because it has been so well promoted for so long, and it follows us tonight. 15 love, 3 games all, second set.
Pinpoint accuracy there from Agassi. It's amazing how he's able to just rifle the ball either direction, Agassi.
But here's what he says, Patrick. One of my strengths that I can play with a variety of shots. I can play it flat, try to go through somebody. I can play both wings up the line, cross court, and I can play short angles, again, both wings.
Stop, we know.
Yeah.
Andre, stop reminding of the other players.
These are his words.
Everybody, they all know that, Cliff, believe me.
In fact, he says, my game requires a lot of thinking, because when you've got those options, you can sometimes think yourself into paralysis. No paralysis today, he's in front. Balcells to serve, trading 3-4, and he's down a set, taking on Andre Agassi in the championship match here. We're heading even further west tomorrow, not too far west, for the first Tennis Masters Series. Some interesting first-round matchups down there in Indian Wells.
Well, of course, all the big boys will be there. Leighton Hewitt, the top seed, takes on Moya in the opening round. A couple of the young Americans, Gamble and Blake, will go at it. Ferrero against Ruzetsky, another first round. The two French Davis Cuppers play against each other, Santoro and Grosjean.
All starts tomorrow, as does our coverage.
Hop in our car after the final here and go through the desert a couple hours, Cliff.
.30 love.
Good serve there, right into the body of Agassi. Watch how this handcuffs Agassi right here. Or watch how Balcells doesn't have to hit a volley. How about that? See, when I try to predict the replays, Cliff, that's when we get into problems.
So Balcells holds on even, 4 apiece.
I believe that's the first love service game he's had. Balcells.
I had 1 break point in this set, and that's it. There have not been any other break points.
A new ball, so Agassi going to the new racket.
Explain that, Patrick. New balls, new racket.
Well, this tension changes slightly over the course of the half hour that Agassi's been out there. He wants a freshly strung racket. The new balls will fly through the air, so this racket will be a little bit tighter than the one he just put down. Lendl, Cliff, was the first guy to really do that consistently.
Well, we should also mention that the atmosphere here is a lot like it is in Vegas, where he's so much at home. He's his home.
Not quite as high, the ball but the dry air certainly, and the ball does zip through the air a little more quickly here than sea level. Agassi scrambling to stay in the point. Balcells doing some scrambling himself, stretching. Andre at full stretch there, and Balcells dinks it into the open. So 4-all, 15-all. Balcells with the opportunity. Smart second serve there from Agassi. He's been predominantly hitting that kick serve down the middle in the deuce court, but in a big point, that was a big one, 15-all and 4-all. Agassi sneaks it out wide and gets the cheap point. Shaky call there, even from way back here. That looked to be inside the line, Cliff.
Yeah, and there are people who are on the line who are pointing to it as if to say, what? Hello?
That didn't even look close to me.
See if
we can tell from here. Actually getting set to hit the pass. Well, pretty close, but certainly can't make the call from that angle. Nice picture of the Agassi preparation, though, there.
Game point Agassi. And he holds on, so he's got a 5-4 lead. Balcells will serve, and he's got to win the next game to stay in the match. He lost the first behind 2 breaks, 6-2. There have not been any breaks of serve here in the second championship match in Scottsdale. Balcells has only ever won one ATP Tour event, but he has cruised through so far in this tournament, now playing Agassi, but he's on the brink. Still having problem with second serves, although getting a little better.
Well, I'm surprised, Cliff, at how high he's kept that first serve percentage because of that number on the second serves. But he's kept that. He's in the 80 percentiles, 82 for the match. It's outstanding. I figured his percentage would start to come down as Agassi continued to make inroads on that second serve. But
it's a nice combination of power and speed on that serve, actually.
Too short with that serve there, and Agassi able to get on top of it. And now a huge moment for Balcells at 4-5, a set down, 30-all. One swing of the racket, Agassi could be at match point. There it is, one swing. Agassi getting the return down low. And with the second break point of this set for Agassi.
Match point.
Done there. Good fight on that second serve.
He's only won 1 out of 3 on the second serves. You needed that one.
Very authoritative first volley there as well. Saves one match point.
Good, and on the next swing of Agassi's racket, his opportunity to win tour event number 5-0. Match point. And as you've already mentioned, it should be his 4th title here in Scottsdale. He's a regular, Andre Agassi. He's played here. This is his 10th time. Now game point for Balcells.
Balcells again with that kick. Look at that ball explodes off the court. Good depth there. Game point.
Saves a couple. Did Balcells. 5-all.
5 games on.
Tell you, when you are down match point and you have to hit a second serve against Andre Agassi and you know you're coming in, that's a lot of pressure. And Balcells really went after that 1 second. Give him a lot of credit for staying in this match.
50.
Agassi occasionally mixing in a harder first serve. That one 117 miles per hour. Just enough to keep Balcells honest.
Juan Balcells has not won a singles match this year on the tour. Played the Australian Open. Grosjean beat him there. Played in Denmark, in Memphis, and in San Jose.
He qualified, though, in San Jose, so he won 3 matches there, Cliff. So that gives you a little confidence. You know, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet.
Agassi got to the final in San Jose. As you mentioned, beat Roddick and Wayne Ferreira before they lost to Leighton Hewitt. Had a match point against Leighton Hewitt. Tie break in the 3rd.
Agassi gets a lot of legs into that serve. Time he rushed the motion there in that first one, hit it long. Much way he uses those legs, gets down and it pushes up. Good play from Balcells, got some depth on that return. All of a sudden, Agassi now having to play a couple of pressure points on his serve.
Agassi says a lot. One thing, Patrick, that our viewers who play would be interested in, and I think it's really mentally something to take to every match, and that is, he says, you know, I may lose, but the guy who's going to play against me is going to have to play well. So don't go to the court with the fear of losing. Just play your best, and that's his attitude. That's where he's got him. 6-5 he leads. Balcells will serve to stay in it when we come back. 6-2 first set Agassi. Now he's leading 6-5. There have not been any breaks, although Agassi in the last game had 2 chances for the championship and failed.
50.
Biggest serve in the match there from Balcells, $122. Doesn't hit too many aces, the Spaniard. That's just his 5th of the match. Oh, beautiful. Agassi with the dipper. But it's a great footwork from Agassi that sets up. Look at the way he steps back, gets back into position, keeps his weight on that left leg to give him that balance. That incredible hand-eye, the racket speed. What a well-played final this has been. That's just downright nasty, that kick. That ball just jumped up.
It has been a well-played final. 30-15.
See, gets that elbow down very low around the back. See where Agassi hits that. Look at that. He almost didn't even get his racket on it. Has so much kick on it. Balcells snaps it up and out. There it is. Gets that elbow down low and then almost makes contact with the ball on the underside of the ball. That's where you get that nasty kick explodes with that wrist.
40-50.
So the antidote to that is either to close in like he tried there, or to give it a lot of room, which Agassi doesn't like to do.
No. Giving it a lot of room allows your opponent to get to net very quickly.
Game point Balcells. So tiebreak's going to decide the second. First to 7 with a 2-point lead wins the set.
6 games all.
If it's Agassi, it's his 50th tour title.
If it's Balcells, it's his second. Of course, he's got to win another set. Big points. Agassi's made his way to the net on that Balcells backhand. And that's worked very well for Andre. Won 78% of the points when he's come in. Good stab, good stretch there.
I remember Gary Player used to say that the more I practice, the luckier I get, you know, Patrick. And I was thinking as he comes into the net there, Agassi, that the more he gets to the net, the better he's going to be at the net. 78% is a good percentage. And he's called wide again. Just wide. 2-1. Agassi.
That could be a costly miss there for Balcells. That was a very makeable volley there. Now Agassi with 2 serves to come to try to stretch this lead. Well, Balcells looks like he hurt himself a little bit in the left leg.
3.
Maintains the break, Agassi at 3-1 in the tiebreak.
Like he may have pulled his hamstring slightly there, Balcells. He's really pulled up lame after he hit that forehand. Norm Kress taking a look over at Balcells, trying to shake it off. I think he's thinking about calling for the trainer. Now 3-2 back on serve. Agassi leading.
Play there from Balcells. You might as well continue with what's got you to this point, which is the championship match and the tiebreak in the second set with the top seed.
Well, now we'll really see how it's affecting him on this serve volley. Yeah, he really didn't push up at all on that serve.
They're sort of handling in too on that one, so they'll change ends. Agassi in control of the tiebreak at 4-2.
I think he's calling for the trainer now. Yeah.
I think he is.
Trainer's coming out on the court. Here he comes.
And it was interesting. Norm Kress almost looked at Agassi as if it was okay with him. But the trainer is there, and he's going to attend to Balcells. We'll take a short break while they attend to him, and we'll be back with more of this tiebreak in the second set. Agassi leading 4-2. 6-2 first set, and we're in the tiebreak of the second. There's where he hurt himself in that point, Patrick. Well, look at you called it actually.
Well, I pulled up. It looked like his left hamstring, and that is, yeah, it looked like he pulled it slightly, and it is taped up right now. So 2-4 now. Balcells serving to stay in the match. First set to Agassi, 6-2.
He still didn't move for that one. So obviously, even though he was attended to by the tour trainer, he is not 100%.
And Agassi now sensing his 50th career title. 2 points from that now.
And he's got 2 serves to come right here. Ace. 4. Darren Cahill, Agassi's coach, watching, ball on his racket here. That'd be his first title as Agassi's
That would,
coach.
yep.
As you mentioned, Agassi's 50th. A better match than I expected, actually, Patrick.
Balcells, and he served and volleyed. Agassi, he's looking very sharp, though, and he's looking very determined. The footwork is there from Andre, and he's happy. He knows he's done it many, many years. His 10th time in Scottsdale, his 4th title. And as always, the ultimate showman, Agassi acknowledging his fans here in the desert.
Only 18 unforced errors, much more than balanced by total winners of 36. So Agassi has got to be very happy with this effort. And remember, we are going into the first Tennis Masters Series in Indian Wells starting tomorrow. Agassi, the winner of the Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic. Patrick McEnroe has made his way courtside. He's with Andre Agassi. Let's go down to him. Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Drysdale, from up in the booth. Andre, you've been coming here for 10 years. You've won here 4 times. Now your 50th career title right here in Scottsdale. How's that feel?
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I tell you what, you achieve some of these milestones in your career and you just think how special it is, but nothing more special than developing a relationship with certain places over the years. And playing here in Scottsdale has always been a thrill for me, even though it always hasn't gone this well. And this year was no different, just a little extra special.
Now, Andre, you've been out here for so many years. You've had a few changes in your life the last couple of months. You got a baby boy, you got a new wife, you got a new coach over here in Darren Cahill. And must feel pretty good the way things are going with your new coach. A final last week in San Jose, and now a win here.
Well, you know, like I've said before, I've coming off being married, having a son, a wrist injury, a change of coach. I'm in perfect position to play well, right? So if history serves correct, I'm ready to go. But yeah, I'm really motivated. I'm really eager. I've worked hard. I feel ready and looking forward to a great year.
Talk about the next couple of weeks coming up, because last year this time you really were dominating men's tennis. You won in Australia, you won Indian Wells, you won in Miami. Obviously you're playing well now. Are you a little concerned that maybe you peaked a little bit too soon, or you feel like you can continue this great play in the next couple of weeks?
Well, it's been 5-6 months for me being competitive out here, and you know, it's not too much. I mean, to be in 2 finals in a row is a great achievement, first 2 weeks out. You know, but I need the matches, and I'm excited to be here, and the more the merrier. I will not complain.
How many more years do you think we'll be seeing Andre Agassi coming to Scottsdale? At least for the tournament, that is.
This is a good question, but my dream would be for my little boy to be here watching me, so at least, you know, at least to watch me and remember.
And you don't want him to watch you playing in one of those senior tournaments, so you're going to stay with the big time, right?
You never say never, but never.
All right, Andre, well done, and good luck the next couple of weeks. We'll see you out in the desert in Palm Springs.
Thanks,
back up to you, Cliff.
Thank you, Patrick, and congratulations again to Andre Agassi, a winner here in straight sets. His second set went to a tiebreak. He took out Juan Balcells of Spain. There was a look at Agassi at match point. First set easily, second set a little tougher, as Agassi has now won his 50th. Nice interview with Patrick McEnroe. Says that he would like his son to see him play here in Scottsdale. When we come back, we'll take him back to the semi-final that Agassi played against Xavier Malisse of Belgium. Set, Andre Agassi won it 6 games to 4. We join it here in the second set with Agassi leading, I should say trailing 1 game to 2, but he's serving. Good coverage from Malisse.
I'll tell you, Cliff, Malisse is fun to watch. This young Belgian, he's got, excuse me, a lot of talent and hits the ball pretty big off the ground. He's pretty quick, athletic. Mentally, he's had trouble in the first couple of years of his career. A little bit soft, but he's getting that together. He was coached last year by David Felgate after Felgate split with Henman, and that seemed to be going well for Malisse. Then Felgate decided to become an agent. Left to go to IMG, and now Malisse has been working with Dean Goldfine, of course, who's been Todd Martin's coach for many years at Floridian.
That's a good choice. When Malisse was 13, he was a good soccer. Haven't we said this before today, really, about Balcells? He was a very good soccer player, played tennis as well. Decided that tennis was in his future. It was a good choice, as it turned out. Had an outstanding junior career.
Well, had his best year by far last year, Cliff. I mean, he finished the year ranked number 31 in the world. That was all the way up from 127 at the end of 2000. So that was sort of his breakthrough year. We've always known that Malisse has had a lot of talent, a lot of potential. Finally starting to live up to it really in the last 9-12 months.
He lives in Sarasota.
30 on.
And actually went up and played a little bit with Todd Martin as well. And he goes down south to Florida, also Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, I guess, for Dean. I think Dean's, where is he, in Fort Lauderdale?
That area,
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale, Boca, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they've played a couple of times this year, Malisse and Martin. They played down in Australia. Todd Martin won that easily. Then they played just a couple of weeks ago in Memphis, the indoor event there, and Martin had a couple of match points. Malisse ended up saving a handful and won that match. Malisse with a broken string there. Does a smart thing, gets to net, and forces the error from Agassi.
Agassi actually should have made him play that volley, knowing that the strings were broken. Interesting how often the players will let their opponent get away with that.
Well, you lose your concentration a little bit, Cliff, because you
Exactly.
tell yourself exactly that.
That's
They just make it. Just make the guy hit it. And it plays with your mind a little bit. And Agassi with the miss it. Back to deuce now. 1-2 second set.
Xavier Malisse and, sorry, Patrick, Jennifer Caprielli were an item a little while ago, no longer.
I was going to say, Cliff, that 1-2 there from Agassi, beautiful, wide serve. Wasn't a bad return from Malisse, but Agassi with the ability to take that ball early. Took it right up the line for the clean winner. Remember this yesterday's semifinal between Agassi and Malisse.
Agassi got the break here in the second set, led a set and a break, but he was immediately broken back. So now we're on serve.
Game.
Agassi holds on, even, 2 games all in the second.
This event out there, Cliff, Charlie Passarella has put together at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. There's a new facility, first year last year.
Yeah, we were looking at some first-round matchups.
Yeah.
There's some beauties there.
Bjorkman Kafelnikov is one of them. Hewitt Moya.
Gamble and Blake as well playing the first round.
I'll certainly be interested in that one. They played a few weeks ago, actually, Cliff, in Memphis. Blake winning a tight match in straight sets. Gamble's been playing well. Had struggled the end of last year with that shoulder injury. The last 3 weeks, he's made 3 semifinals.
Clean ace for the Belgian.
Be a little inconsistent, Malisse. He's got a lot of flair. He's a shot maker. But he can be a little sloppy sometimes, as he was in that last point.
Mentioned Malisse likes to, you know, he was a great soccer player. But he likes basketball and water skiing, jet skiing as well, and he's apparently now a single-digit handicap golfer, as so many of the tennis players get on the golf course. Phoenix Open is held not more than about a driver and a 7-iron from here. Malisse holds on. It is 3-2. We're on serve in the second. First to Agassi 6-4. Back to the Franklin Templeton after this. As he takes on Xavier Malisse of Belgium. We're in the second set. First set to Agassi. Malisse leading 3-2 now in the second. Top seed to serve. Patrick, is the Belgian in the same league with you know, the young Lion Safin, Roddick Hewitt? Is he up there?
I don't think he's quite up there, Cliff, as we see this replay of Agassi controlling that point beautifully. I think he's just a notch below. I think he's a potential top 20 player, but I don't think he's a top 5 type guy like those guys are.
But Ferrero is he?
Juan Carlos Ferrero?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, to me, Ferrero's a favorite for the French right now. Especially, and especially with Kierton out with the injury. But Malisse is, no, he'll be knocking on that door in the top 20. I see him as more of a guy between sort of 10 and 20, maybe 10 and 30. Very solid. He could make that next step. He's got to get a little mentally, just a little sounder and a little more consistent.
Yeah, that's a nice point.
Wow. Spectacular stuff there. I mean, Malisse just rocketed that forehand up the line. This one right here, Agassi with great defense. Malisse forced to come in, tries to keep it low. Agassi taking that ball right off the bounce. Rips it cross court. And we saw Andre do this in the final earlier against Balcells, and going to the fresh racket with the new balls in play, as Malisse will serve with new ones now at 3-all. Malisse had a fairly comfortable win in the quarters over Wayne Ferreira, who had beaten Sampras. Malisse took out Ferreira 5-2. Love 30 now, 3-all second set. That returns. You got to be ready for that, especially when you're playing Agassi. You can't afford to just relax after that serve. That return was on Malisse in a hurry, and he wasn't prepared.
Break points.
Just donated that game, did Malisse. So Agassi now up a break again. 4-3 second set coming up right after our tennis here.
4-3 Agassi, and he won the first 6-4.
See, that's the type of game, Cliff, that last one for Malisse is why I answered the question you asked me earlier. Do I think Malisse can be up in the top 10? It's just you can't play a loose game like that and give away a game at such a crucial time in the match, and he has a tendency to do that.
Agassi down. I tell you that it's amazing the way that he's been able to come back in his career. And again, there's his coach Darren Killer Cahill watching him, brand new coach. This is their second event together, but that he has been able to come back in one of the most remarkable stories really in sports.
From 141 in the world, what, 5 years ago?
Reminder, this is the semifinal played yesterday. Agassi going on to win the championship match today against Juan Balcells. Notwithstanding that he couldn't play the Australian because of an injured wrist that he hurt in the warm-up tournament for the first slam of the year, he's back here just playing great tennis again.
Big serve there, 117 miles per hour. Clean ace for Agassi. Look at the leg push there. Now he flows right into the court. Body weight going forward.
30-15. I mean, we in tennis are going to have to live with the fact that one day Agassi's going to retire, but the longer he hangs on, the better for us, for the ratings and for the enthusiasm of the crowd. The other thing that he's done, though, I think, and you've got to give him credit for this also, is that players are more animated now because he has been a star for so long, and it rubs off.
And he's actually not as animated as he used to be.
No, that's true.
But he just does it with his game. It's enough to get the people in the seats. Defensive work there by Malisse. It's pretty quick. Agassi stalking that baseline, forcing Malisse to play that defensive tennis. Some hat gear for it. Desert sun here. Ooh, just missed it.
Not happy with the call, but the chair ump is going to stay with this call, and the game goes to Agassi. Yeah, it was a long way away from him anyway. perfect weather here in the desert these last couple of days. Every time I come out here, it seems to be the same. There's Norm Christ. He's from, as we mentioned earlier today, did the championship match as well. He's from Arizona. He's a local.
Yeah, they got to give him all the good matches of his hometown. Give him the final. Norm, an excellent umpire, one of the traveling umps for the ATP Tour.
Out. 15.
A little drop kick there from the soccer player that hit the lines person. That's, you got to be careful about stuff like that. But he got away with it. Norm's lenient. 30-15.
Very loose and relaxed Malisse on that serve. There's another ace. Yeah, he's got some firepower, this youngster.
Good swing there from Malisse, but he is in trouble as Agassi leads 5-4. He's just 4 points away.
I mean, it's impossible to pick a winner on the men's side. I think Agassi's obviously looking good. Hewitt, you know, is going to be fresh, not to mention he beat Agassi last week in San Jose. Sampras, I think, you know, to me, I don't put him as a favorite because the lack of consistency from Sampras, but he needs to do well, I think, one of these next two big events to set himself up for the rest of the year, Pete Sampras. I think he's in great condition physically.
And Kafelnikov's the number 2 seed.
Kafelnikov's always around. I mean, that is surprising. And he's the 2nd seed. And you have Saf and you have Haas. You know, Haas looked very good in Australia.
Moya beat him here. Agassi serving for the match. Two points away now.
This time Agassi slides it out wide. Takes in the triple match point.
Go, Xavier, come on! Come on, bear down, buddy!
Bear down.
A little late to be bearing down.
Come on! Go, buddy, bear down, be a stud, come on.
Just a perfect swing inside out forehand. Clean winner. Andre Agassi winning yesterday over Xavier Malisse in straight sets and then capping it today with a good win against the Spaniard, Patrick.
Well, Agassi looking very solid. I think bodes well for him after that disappointing start to the year in Australia. Agassi looking good.
Back to Arizona in a minute.